Taehyung and you are a married couple for the last 6 months. He is the CEO of Kim Corporation and you are his secretary. Taehyung's parents are the reason for your arranged marriage. You both never liked the idea at the very first place. But things took a turn when Taehyung's mother was sent to hospital. He was obliged to obey his mother and you both got married. He never treats you as his wife. You are just a mere object to satisfy his sexual needs. You never had a voice at his house. He is strict and rude. As a result, you kept silence because he turns crazy if he gets angry. Then things will get impossible to control. He will relieve his anger in your body, which makes you hate him and yourself. At Kim Corporation, everyone was doing their work in the afternoon when someone wearing a revealing outfit entered the building, making everyone look towards her direction. She was wearing quite revealing dress as she was here to grab someone's attention. The beautiful lady walked towards the CEO's room. She stood outside his door and moved her gaze towards the CEO's secretary seat, which was empty. She scoffed and pushed opening the door, but the scene in front of her made her angry. There was Taehyung, who was kissing his secretary Wyan passionately. They both were standing near the wall. Wyan's hands were pinned to the wall. Taehyung's one hand was on her face and one was pinning her wrists. "Oppa!" the woman screamed, getting their attention. Taehyung didn't stop kissing Wyan and slowly looked towards the door to find the most annoying person on earth. He mentally sighed and pulled back from the kiss, making Wyan gasp heavily. "What are you doing here, Taehy?" Taehyung asked annoyingly. Kim Taehy was 26-year-old, the younger sister of Namjoon and an actress by profession. "Oppa, what are you doing with this girl?" Taehy spat angrily while glaring at Wyan, who was looking down. Few minutes ago, Wyan came in Taehyung's office to inform him about an important meeting, but when she was about to leave, Taehyung grabbed her hand and pinned her to the wall. He kissed her forcefully. She tried to ditch herself from him, but he didn't let her go. "Taehy!" Taehyung yelled, making her flinch. "Oppa," she asked, scared. "How many times should I tell you? Don't call my wife by any inappropriate names." Taehyung yelled again, making her secretly clench her fist in anger. "Apologize to her," Taehyung said firmly. Taehy looked at him with the speed of light. "Apologize? And to her?" Taehy asked angrily. "Do it!" Taehyung spat angrily. Taehy cursed under her breath before uttering, I am sorry, Wyan." Taehy apologized while gritting her teeth and left from there angrily, but not before slamming the door. Taehyung turns towards his wife and grabs her hand gently. "Let's go to the meeting," he said and walked outside his office with her. Taehyung's penthouse. After coming from the office, Taehyung and Wyan got busy in their works. Wyan was busy in preparing the dinner when she felt someone's presence behind her. A shiver ran down her spine when his hand wrapped around her waist, pulling her closer towards him. "I'm hungry," Taehyung said while placing his chin over her right shoulder. He sniffed the food's aroma and soon a warm smile formed on his face. She is still the best cook, Taehyung thought while smiling within himself. "I will call you when the dinner will be ready," Wyan informed in her low voice. "Okay," Taehyung said and left from there, but not before pecking her neck, making her flinch. Taehyung walked to the living room and got settled on a couch. He switched on the TV and soon an annoying chuckle left from his mouth when he see the most annoying person on TV. "So, Mr. Seokjin, you are known as the worldwide handsome," Jimin, the host of the award function, asked. They were in a music award function with Jimin as the celebrity host. "Yes," Jin answered while giving a flying kiss to the camera, making Jimin embarrassed. "What do you think about this, Mr. Suga?" Jimin asked the Billboard singer. Suga didn't say anything but just nodded his head. "He's like this, don't mind him. Focus on worldwide handsome," Jin said while making a Korean heart. Taehyung changed the channel as he was himself feeling embarrassed by Jin's actions. Soon, Wyan entered inside the living room and stood behind the couch on which he was sitting. "Dinner is ready," Wyan said, making him turn towards her. Taehyung looked at her and slowly nodded while standing up. They both got settled down on the dining table and soon started having their dinner. Wyan was silently eating her food when she felt Taehyung's gaze on her. She shifted on her chair uncomfortably, but still he kept his eyes on her figure. "Let's meet your family tomorrow," Taehyung said, making her nod. Next day, at Kim's residence, Taehyung parked his expensive car outside the big house. He walked outside the car to the main door, with Wyan following him from behind. Ding dong! Soon, a man in his late 50s opened the door for the couple. A smile got plastered on his face when he saw his daughter and son-in-law. "Hey Taehyung," Mr. Kim said and hugged Taehyung tightly. Taehyung hugged him back. "Hey Dad, how are you?" Taehyung asked while shaking hands with Mr. Kim. "I am perfectly fine," Mr. Kim said and gestured them to enter inside the house. Soon, they all were sitting in the living room. Taehyung and Wyan were sitting together while Mr. Kim was facing them. "So, how is your married life?" Mr. Kim asked, on which Taehyung smiled. "Absolutely great," Taehyung answered, making his father-in-law happy. "That's good to hear. What about you, my daughter?" Mr. Kim asked. "Same Dad, our marriage life is good," Wyan answered while smiling at her father. "It's been 6 months that you both got married. Any good news?" Mr. Kim asked. Taehyung looked at him lost. On the other hand, Wyan looked down. At the same time, they both said the same thing in their mind. "Oh my God." Taehyung's penthouse. It was holiday for Taehyung and Wyan. Wyan was in their bedroom sitting on the bed. She was reading a book while Taehyung entered inside with a bruised hand. He ignored her and quickly walked towards the washroom. Wyan didn't even look at him and ignored him back. Soon Taehyung came out from the washroom and stood in front of her with his bruised hand. Wyan slowly looked at him and found him looking down at her intensely. She quickly looked away in fear. "Bring the first aid kit and cure my bruised hand," Taehyung ordered, making her nod. Wyan stood up from the bed and walked towards the cupboard. Wyan approached him and forwarded the kit in front of him, making him frown. "What?" Taehyung asked. "First aid kit," Wyan answered calmly, making him groan in annoyance. "Treat my hand!" Taehyung spat angrily, making her flinch. She quickly nodded her head at him and sat beside him on the bed. Wyan got busy in her work and she slowly started treating his wound. An hour ago, Taehyung was aggressively punching the punching bag, which caused the bruise in his hand. Taehyung moved his gaze towards his wife, who was busy in treating his wounded hand. Unknowingly, he started checking her out. Wyan was wearing a casual frock dress. It was a normal dress in her accordance, but for Taehyung, it was kind of seducing him. Her neck was a little low, so unintentionally, Taehyung's eyes got stuck at her cleavage. He gulped hard while looking at her skin. "It's done," Wyan informed while closing the first aid kit. She stood up and was about to walk away when Taehyung grabbed her hand and pulled her towards him, leading her to land on his lap. "Sir?" Wyan said, scared. Taehyung gazed at her and slowly shifted back some hair strands behind her ear, making her flinch. She looked down, scared, as she was sitting on Taehyung's lap, and it wasn't a safe place for her, because she clearly knew what could happen if he lost his mind. "Don't you think you're looking too beautiful today?" Taehyung asked while caressing her hair scent. Wyan didn't say anything and continued looking down in fear. A gasp left her mouth when Taehyung dropped her clothed melons. He squeezed it, making her look down scared. "You know, I so desperately wanted to bury myself deep inside you," Taehyung whispered in her ear sensually. Wyan tried to stand up, but Taehyung tightly wrapped his arms around her waist, pulling her down on his lap again. "Where do you think you're going, huh?" Taehyung asked while rubbing his nose on her cheek. Her beautiful aroma was hitting his nostril, making him want to snuggle with her so badly. "She still uses that perfume," Taehyung thought and smiled within himself. Taehyung slowly crawled his finger on her thighs, pulling the frock up, revealing her smooth legs to him. Wyan looked down in embarrassment. Her breathing became uneven when Taehyung started sucking her neck. While roaming his hands on her thighs, he moved his hand towards her inner thighs, making her gasp. "Please," she requested as tears formed in her eyes. "Please what? You don't have any right to stop me," Taehyung whispered, and in a minute, Wyan was on the bed with Taehyung hovering over her. "Let's get to the main event, shall we?" Taehyung asked while smirking, making her tremble in fear. At Kim Corporation, today Yoonwoo joined the meeting with Namjoon. Yoonwoo was sitting inside the meeting room waiting for only one person, Kim Wyan. After some time, Wyan and Taehyung entered inside and greeted everyone including Namjoon and Yoonwoo. Soon the meeting started. During the whole time, Yoonwoo was glancing at Wyan, making her uncomfortable. She, the whole time, was shifting uncomfortably on her seat, and this was what Taehyung noticed. He slowly moved his gaze towards Yoonwoo and saw him staring at his wife shamelessly. Namjoon also noticed this, so he cleared his throat, making Yoonwoo come out of his trance. Yoonwoo looked around embarrassed as he was caught staring at Wyan. After the meeting, everyone left except Namjoon, Yoonwoo, Taehyung and Wyan. "Hey Taehyung, I want to talk to you about a deal," Namjoon said, making him nod. Soon they both left from there, leaving Wyan and Yoonwoo alone. Yoonwoo looked at Wyan sadly and grabbed her hand when she was about to walk outside. Wyan's heart started beating in fear. She slowly turned around and looked at Yoonwoo's hand, which was holding her hand. "Don't let him see this," Wyan prayed to God. Even God knew who she was talking about. "Wyan, listen to me, please," Yoonwoo said and slowly pulled her towards him, making her more scared. "Yoonwoo, please leave my hand," Wyan requested in a low voice while trying to free her hand from his tight grip. "No," Yoonwoo spat angrily and pulled her in his arms. He engulfed her waist and pulled her more closer towards him. Wyan placed her hand on Yoonwoo's chest to make some space between them, but he was not in a mood to do so. "Yoonwoo, please leave me," Wyan whispered at him, making him look at her sadly. "Wyan, why are you ignoring me?" Yoonwoo asked. Wyan looked down and didn't say anything. She didn't want to face him. "Say something," Yoonwoo said and slowly moved his face towards her ears. "Yoonwoo, I'm married. What we had between us came to an end when I got married. You were always a good friend of mine, but now you behave like my boyfriend. I never loved you. You know, right, that I told you that I don't want it," Wyan said while looking down. "Why? Why can't you?" Yoonwoo yelled at her, making her scared and uncomfortable. "Because she's my wife," Taehyung spat firmly. Yoonwoo looked at him, who was standing at the meeting room's door. Wyan's heart started beating fast in fear. She knew she was in danger now. Taehyung walked towards them in a slow pace and pulled Wyan away from Yoonwoo's grip. He placed his hand around Wyan's waist, pulling her closer to him. Yoonwoo's eyes followed Taehyung's hand, which was securely wrapped around her waist. Yoonwoo secretly clenched his jaw while looking at the married couple in front of him. Wyan was looking down when Taehyung pulled back his hand from her waist, and the next moment Taehyung was dragging her towards his office. They both entered inside Taehyung's office. He pushed away all the things from the desk and pushed her against it. "You still didn't stop your acts, huh?" Taehyung muttered angrily while hovering over her. Wyan wanted to push him away from her. She wanted to run away from him. She just wanted to be away from him. You really let him pull you into his arms? Taehyung asked while holding her face. You know, right, that only I have the right to do so. Taehyung whispered in her ear from behind, making a shiver ran down her spine. Remember this, you have no right to get close to any other man rather than your husband, who is me, Kim Taehyung. Taehyung said while pointing his finger towards himself. Wayan was still looking aside. But still, she was listening to him clearly, so she slowly nodded without sparing a glance at him. Taehyung couldn't see his wife with some other man rather than him. Yoonwoo was one of his biggest problems. Taehyung wouldn't let Yoonwoo roam around his wife now. Taehyung would make sure that Wayan would stick by his side no matter what. At Taehyung's penthouse, Taehyung and Wayan entered inside their room around midnight. After taking shower, Taehyung was waiting for Wayan to come out of the shower. Strip, he ordered when she came out of the washroom. Wayan looked at him scared. Taehyung was sitting on the bed while looking at her with his lusty eyes. I said strip, Taehyung said in a deep voice. Wayan gulped hard and slowly started stripping herself. Taehyung's eyes were struck on her. After some minutes, Wayan was standing completely naked in front of him. Taehyung stood up and went towards her. Wayan was looking down. He reached her and soon started walking around her in a circular manner. Wayan's heart was beating fast in fear. She knew that he was going to do it again, but still she was scared. A gasp left her mouth when Taehyung pulled her towards him by grabbing her waist. Wayan looked down in fear. Taehyung slowly bent towards her face and smashed his lips over her lips. Wayan didn't protest and let him kiss her. Taehyung was mad right now. Yoonwoo's presence always made Wayan a different person. He didn't like Yoonwoo's effect on his wife because she always forget her husband between that. After some minutes, he pulled back from the kiss and picked her up in bridal style. Taehyung started walking towards the bed with Wayan. He slowly placed her on the soft mattress and took some steps back from the bed. Wayan looked down as she noticed his actions. Taehyung started removing his clothes, making her heart beat in nervousness and fear. Ride me, Taehyung ordered, making her look at him wide eyes. But she quickly looked down when she encountered his naked body. Sir, I can't do it, she whispered as tears formed in her eyes. Disobeying me, huh? Taehyung asked. Should I punish you hard? Taehyung asked while smirking. Wayan nodded and slowly looked at him, making his heart beat wildly. Blush erupted on his cheeks when he saw her looking straight in his eyes. Taehyung shook his head and stared at her. Then do as I say, he whispered and lay down on the bed. Wayan had no choice but to do what he asked her to do. She hated doing these kinds of disgusting things. Taehyung fell down on the bed beside her and uttered, Don't forget that now you are mine, just mine. No one can touch you and have you except me. Taehyung said and wrapped his arms around her waist, pulling her closer to him. Wayan didn't say anything and slowly looked at him when she heard soft snores. Taehyung was sleeping while resting his head on her cleavage. This man, sleeping in front of her, looked so innocent, gentle and calm. But only she knew that what kind of a beast he was. Wayan was busy in her thoughts, but she came out of her trance when she heard him. "My Wayan, only mine," Taehyung mumbled in his sleep. Please subscribe and thank you for watching.